Right, here's an interesting video I have here of how to get up from the floor, get down to the floor, and then get up from the floor for a person specifically with back pain. Usually with back pain, it can be an everyday movement like this can be very difficult. Take for granted when you're perfectly healthy and pain-free, but ask anyone who's got a back problem how difficult this sort of movement can be, and they'll tell you, yeah, it can be very frightening trying to avoid the pain, and they end up using like compensatory movements, and over the long period of time, this can be bad news that actually funnily enough, creates more pain. So we're going to show you here how to break this down into a very simple process to show you how you can do this by keeping your spine fairly neutral and avoid the pain. All right, so Nathan here is going to show you. Firstly, he's going to activate his core, not doing overly too much, but just bracing himself in preparation for movement. And he's going to set himself up in a lunge stance because he's got to try and get down to the floor. So see, he's gradually taking his time to get there. Now he's going to kneel down to the floor, nice and easily. I've got this in slow motion, by the way, so it is a little bit quicker than that. Then he gets one knee down, then he gets the other knee down. All this time he's kept his spine fairly neutral. All right, so nothing is flexed or bent in the spine. Now again, keeping that bracing pattern, he places his hands on his thighs, sticks his butt out as if in the gym, like we call this a deadlift. So he's keeping a natural curve in his spine and sitting his bum back in towards his heels, so then he can get his hands on the floor, and then he walks his hands forward nice and easily so he gets in a 4-point position. All right, so again, nothing has moved through the spine here. All of the movement so far has been through his hips and his limbs. Now this is the tricky bit. He's got to stretch out one leg so he can, and then slightly bend the elbow so he's getting closer to the floor. Reaches his hand forward while the leg goes backward so that he can reach out and then gently roll himself without twisting his spine. That's the key to this. He wants to try and get away down to the floor without twisting his spine. And once he gets there, he's reaching forward and he can gently rock himself around. And like in the recovery position for first aid here, which is a very relaxing position, then he can get himself set up into a point where he can try and roll himself around. So using the ground to push away his hip to pull himself around, and you can see there he keeps his back nice and neutral. And there you go. And that's how he gets down to the floor. Alright, so then to get back up, it's pretty much everything in reverse. So now he'll bring his knee closer to his chest, bring his arm up, guide himself around using he has his arm out the side to brace him, so he wants to get back to that recovery point. Guides himself around, hand on the ground, finds a way to get into that 4-point position so the knee comes around. There you go. And now he gently walks himself back on his hands, keeping his back in neutral. So just readjusting himself now. There he goes, and he walks back. Sticks his butt out, keeping that nice, there you go, so keep the nice position in his back. Kneeling on both knees. Now the lunge stance and pushing up to standing. Alright, simple as that.